Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for joining us. We are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, as we do every weekday, starting around 1 p.m. Going throughout the afternoon, we cover a wide range of topics, but something that I'm sure a lot of people out there watching are familiar with is the Harefest Music Festival that takes place in Canby, Oregon, at the Clackamas County Fairgrounds. In case you're not familiar, we're going to let you know all about that, but it is a tribute band extravaganza, I believe, coined as the mother of all tribute festivals, and that is certainly the case. So we're going to talk about that and also just the incredible phenomenon of tribute bands and a band called Stone in Love. We've got a lot to cover right there. That's a whole lot I just mentioned right there in the beginning, but we're going to get to all of that. Joining us, we have Kevin Hahn, who is lead singer of Stone in Love, that tribute band I was just mentioning, and we've got Jason Fellman, the purveyor of the Harefest Festival and JFL Presents. Thank you, both of you guys, for joining here. We're going to get into the specific band here in just a second, but let's give everybody, Jason, if you don't mind, just a rundown of what Harefest is. And, you know, it's been around, it's such a staple, you know, for me now to understand it, but for some people out there who may not know, can you give them just that quick story of Harefest and how this all got started?
Yeah, so I mean, Harefest, as you mentioned, the mother of all tribute festivals. So we actually borrowed that moniker from Hood to Coast, who is the mother of all relays, right? So we're like, oh, that's inspirational. But yeah, it's a 3-day festival out in Canby with 24 tribute bands. The center of the programming is around classic rock, but we've got everything on the fringes, from Beastie Boys on one end to ABBA on the other end, and then staples like Motley Crue tributes, of course, our Journey tribute, Def Leppard tributes, it's just, you know, Fleetwood Mac, Eagles, just all set. And we got over about 3,000 people spending the night out there across 3 days. So it's this year it's July 17th through the 19th at the Clackamas County Fairgrounds out there in Canby.
Yeah, I mean, and just as you mentioned, like so many different styles of music, different, you know, genres that are all covered with that. I've got just a couple of like things here, just like showcasing, you know, some of what it's like out there and just the crowd there enjoying it. You know, light shows, all kinds of stuff that's happening with this. So it is really just a huge event. And, you know, the other part of there is just the musicianship, the quality of musicians, you know, that are playing there. And, you know, a lot of those guys are people in other bands, but they come together and perform that, and that's really what I think really makes it. And one of those bands is, of course, your guys' band. And would you guys mind, Kevin or Jason, I don't know who wants to start, but just telling us about the group you are in and how you got started on this?
Go ahead, Jason.
So our tribute band, we're the Journey tribute, Stone in Love, and I think part of the reason why we're a bigger part of the story this year than we might be normally is that this is our last year as a band. So we're sort of making our final run this summer with a show ending in December in Portland, TVA. But we're a Journey tribute, and we've been playing since the very first Harefest. So this was 15 years ago when we started back in 2010, and you know, it's been one of those things where, you know, we're lucky to have a guy like Kevin who can sing like Steve Perry, and we're lucky to live in a city in a region with so many Journey fans.
Yeah, tons of Journey fans, but I mean, what was it about Journey that made you choose, you know, of all the bands out there that you could have formed a tribute band around? What was it about Journey?
You know, I think it was like a natural progression. We just, you know, grew up with the music and loved the music and just wanted to do some songs, and it just blew up.
Yeah, I mean,
15 years ago, right?
we actually, it was funny. I recorded, you know, some of the Genesis. I had found Kevin online because his studio, he has a very prominent Opal studio. He had already worked with tons of musicians that I was familiar with. So on a lark, off the internet, I called Kevin. And ended up working at his studio to record my original album, and then later doing the demo for our 80s tribute, Radical Revolution. And while we were in there, somehow somebody was playing Journey on the guitar, and Kevin starts singing, I think is what happened. And so one thing leads to another, and we're down at the Thirsty Lion in 2010 playing the five Journey songs that we learned, and people went bananas. And I think 5 shows later we sold out the Aladdin Theater. So I think you know, it speaks to both, you know, the quality of the band, but also to how much people love Journey.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, and experiencing something like that. I mean, 5 shows later, that's and it's also pretty amazing. Like, you're just singing it there in studio. That's like one of those movie moments. Like, wait a minute, what did you just do that again? So you guys have that. You know, what is it? Do you think though about that experience that of somebody going to see? Obviously, it's not Journey, but they're still selling out the Aladdin and still coming to all these shows and wanting to experience that. So what is it about a tribute band that makes it so special and so unique for audiences?
I think it's like your first love. Like you grew up with it. It's ingrained in our culture and what we grew up with. Like for me, like Journey was my first concert in middle school or something. So it'll always hold a special part for me. And I think, when people hear these songs, it just takes them back to, where they were, wherever they, whatever it might be, their school prom or, or the first time you got a kiss. I don't know. It just, for a lot of people, it holds special memories,
It's that nostalgia and that moment, that
exactly
moment of what that song is.
Yep. Soundtrack of their lives.
Yeah. Well, what's it like, playing in this band for so long and bringing up, the last few shows? How does that feel?
God, definitely bittersweet. We've had an amazing run, and we're super grateful, and just, it's been an amazing experience.
Yeah, we never imagined starting it. I mean, first of all, when we learned the 5 songs, like we didn't even have there was no grand plan to start a tribute band. It was one of those things where people kept showing up and we kept learning more songs, and our timing was good, based on when some of these bands were sort of out of the vanguard for popular hits, but they still have these massive catalogs. I remember talking to one of the lighting engineers at Harefest years ago, and he said one of the unique things about a tribute band and a tribute band festival is that it's like it's all headliners all the way through. You know what I mean? So you're literally having to. It's like going into a race that should be a marathon, but you're sprinting the whole way. And tribute bands are a lot like that too. So the audience, to Kevin's point, they know all the songs. So if you go to see a Journey tribute or Fleetwood Mac or Eagles or Beastie Boys, it's like what you're gonna get, and they've already had all their hits, so you're gonna know all the songs. It's really cool.
Right, you're getting to hear the hits, and then the crowd is going to love it. But there's also something about that for the musicians as well, because you have to have a certain level of musicianship to pull that off, to perform something like that. So for the band members, and you guys included, what is it for you guys that makes you want to do this so much and enjoy it so much?
I think you have to love the music first. There's no substitute for that. Like, you have to have passion for what you're doing, and it has to mean something to you too. So for us, like, we're just celebrating the music with everybody else. It's we're just doing it together, and we're just facilitating.
Oh, I think you cut out right there just for a second.
Well, to add to that, the other thing too is that a lot of these bands, the material is challenging, right? So as a musician, you get to stretch your legs a little bit. It might not be something you would normally get to play in your original project, or if you're in a dance band, for example, maybe you don't get to play as much arena rock. So on top of everything else, it's just kind of nice to be able to, flex your, musical muscle a little bit and learn new things. I've learned a lot from playing in tribute bands over the years.
Oh yeah, I bet. I mean, and picking that up, and again, it's, you're playing to some very incredible, world-class musicians, and you're learning their stuff as you go along to it. So I bet that is pretty educational in that aspect too.
Absolutely,
well, yeah. So for this last, let me ask you this: do you each have maybe one favorite song of all the ones that you play?
Man,
is there a favorite? Maybe that's not an answerable question.
Well, for me, it's Escape, which is the title track to and I can speak for Dane, our bass player, as well. Dane and I both love the song Escape. It's one of the few songs on our set list that wasn't a hit, but it's just, if you hear it, you'll hear it musically. It's like, it's a lot of fun to pull off, and it's challenging. It's a lot going on in that song.
Yeah. Yeah, and Kevin, I won't make you answer that question. So we won't force that. But coming up for this for Harefest here this weekend, or I mean not this weekend, sorry, this summer, coming up, and people are going to be going out. They're going to be seeing your band for the last time. What do you want people to take away from that experience?
I think more than anything, I think it's just we want people to have fun together. You know what I mean? Like, especially nowadays where things are kind of tense, it's like it kind of like it places an additional sort of value on the entertainment, and coming together and just saying, hey, you know what? We can all agree that this is awesome. And so those good vibes, like, it can't be underestimated. And that's a big part of, I think, what we get with both our band and also with the festival in general.
Well, I can't imagine that you're not still going to want to continue to play in something afterward. Is there a hint to what happens post Stone in Love?
Well, we have Kevin's got a band, for example. You can tell about Beat Division.
Yeah, I've got a new wave band which I play guitar in, so that's super fun and a new chapter. But yeah, we're always going to be playing music, and I'm usually busy doing some sort of music thing, whether it's the studio or playing live or different one-off projects. But yeah, we'll always be doing something musical. So
we have multiple active bands. I think
this won't be the last of us.
If you added up all the bands, I think we've got band members who are featured in Ants in the Kitchen, in Beat Division, who's also got a new Duran Duran tribute coming out in the fall, and also Radical Revolution, my '80s band, and Red Light Romeos, which does '70s. So we're still out playing. It just won't be a Stone in Love.
Just won't be that. Yeah, but regardless, though, this is an opportunity for people to go see you guys here for Harefest and get to experience it in person. And I can tell you, it's an experience. And fun is, as you just mentioned, that's the accurate way for everything that I've experienced with that. Well, for everybody out there who wants to get tickets, wants to find out more, can you let them know the dates and where the best places to go?
Yep, so it's July 17th through 19th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Tickets are at harefest.com. You can see it spelled a little unconventionally on my shirt because it was started at the Wild Hair Saloon in Canby. That's why it's not Hair. The one thing we like to tell people is we're doing something kind of cool this year. Everybody who has purchased their tickets before July 1st is automatically entered into a drawing to get upgraded to one of our VIP party suites. Which we've never done before. So we're pretty stoked about that. So we're always encouraging people, if you're going to go, don't wait till the last minute, because if you get them done before the end of the month, you might find yourself in a VIP tent.
That's a pretty great incentive right there. So there you go, everybody. You can check that out. Well, you guys both, thank you very much for having time to talk to us too here on Fox 12 Now. Congrats on the run and congrats on these next shows. But as you mentioned, you're going to be playing music in other places, but it won't necessarily be Stone in Love. So this is the chance to see that too at Harefest. And thanks to both you guys for joining us here.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you, guys.